I should say it was published off of Black Enterprise, and it was curated on the Newstoter.com platform. So the title, it says, Whole North Carolina Police Department quits due to progressively responsible town manager. In protest of a newly appointed progressively responsible town manager in North Carolina, an entire police force has turned in their 2 weeks' notice because of their alleged hostile work environment. The New York Post reports Kenley Police Chief Josh Gibson, a key clerk, and 5 of his officers quit their positions to express their disapproval of the new town manager, Justine Jones, a black woman. In a Thursday announcement, Gibson wrote, I have put in my 2 weeks' notice along with the whole police department. Sharon Evans and Christy Thomas with the town of Keenly after 21 years of service. The new manager has created an environment I do not feel we can perform our duties in service to the community. Hired last month on June 2nd, Jones has had a history of progressively responsible positions, which the former force approves of. However, due to the hostile work environment in the town of Keenly, I do not believe progress is possible, wrote Gibson in a formal letter. Town representatives had held an emergency closed meeting Friday night to discuss the department's future. We just learned about this Wednesday. It affects the entire police department and staff members. We are looking at having an emergency special meeting to figure out how to move forward with this, said town attorney Chip Hewitt per WRAL. The former chief let it be known that if Jones were to quit or be fired, he would reassess his decision. Jones has had nothing but praise throughout the career over the years of public service. Jones has a dedicated career to public service over the last 16 years, which she worked in progressively responsible positions with local governments in Minnesota, Virginia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, read a press release from the town of Keenly per Fox News. Johnson County Sheriff Steve Bizzle maintained that his officers will be stepping up to the vacant positions. I will be there for the people of Keenly, and they can rest assured they will have their deputies patrolling the streets, he guaranteed. So what we got a problem right here on this story here, he won't come out and say it, but basically they got a problem with a black woman in charge. They got pissed off that this black woman got put in a position of power, and these good old boys in this redneck town of Keenly, North Carolina. I don't know anybody on here that knows Keenly, North Carolina. Please let us know about it. But apparently they had a problem with this black woman being put in a power position. It seems like this sister's credentials say that wherever she's gone at, she's done a bang up job for almost close to 20 years, 16 years. And you got these good old boys in this run of the mill type town where they're talking about you had something like 5 officers and the sheriff or whatever all quit or whatever. So it seems to me that when it comes to taking authority from a black person, let alone a black woman, has caused quite an issue for these people in this town right here in Keenly. So we definitely gonna keep a close eye on this. And when I saw this pop up today on the Newstoter platform, I thought this would be a great discussion for tonight, because how often does one person make an entire police force just quit and just put in their 2 weeks notice, basically saying, hey, we've had enough. They haven't even given the woman a chance to say exactly what she could do, how she could lead, but already, she's just a town manager at that. I could see if she came in and she was a mayor, the chief of police or something like that, but they have not even given this sister a chance to see exactly what type of expertise and how she can go ahead and better help the actual people in this town. They're so dead set at taking orders from a woman, namely a black woman at that they've already made up their mind. They already got it in for this sister. Ray, what's up? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to the room. Family, you know how it is. They don't really, I think it's more of a mental thing for them. They don't want this black woman having any type of authority over them. So honestly, I think it's more, like I said, just mental. They just don't like it, so they much rather just leave than have to deal with anything that they perceive as any type of gains that we might be making.
Oh yeah. Like I say, they haven't even given the sister a chance. She just got in there, couldn't even take her shoes off before they sitting up here crying and complaining and whatnot about. A lot of white men have a problem taking authority from anybody that's not white per se. So the fact that this is a woman and she's a black woman at that, it's really, really got them upset. Really got them upset. But they can go ahead and they can do the background check and this and that. But it seems like this sister's credentials, all add up and whatnot, and that she's more than capable of running the show here. Like I say, she's a town manager, and how can you say somebody's basically that the person is too progressive when the person hasn't even had a chance to even get up in the damn seat and even get a chance to do the job, man. Like this is just pure undermining of this woman right here. DJ, I see you up in the house. Can you hear me?
Finally made it up here, man. Peace to you, my brother Tyler. Peace, Ray. Peace, Nikki. Peace, everybody. Reparations up. Go ahead. Go down here on with y'all. I'm listening to you.
Well, yeah, I just put this up in the Jumbotron, so I'm trying to give people a chance. If they want to click on the actual article, they can actually take a look and see exactly what we're talking about as well. So, yeah, this is just, like I said, this is more good old boy behavior right here. People that, like I say, the fact that they see black skin, a black woman, and they just done lost their absolute mind. Now, how the hell you talking about having a quitter's attitude and just a bunch of losers? They gonna sit up here, and these are the same people that talk about sitting up here and protecting the community, protecting and serving and whatnot. But you gonna let your entire community down by showing this type of behavior simply because you can't get your way. Lawrence, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's up, Newstoter? What's up, DJ?
What's going on? You kind of low there. Can you get up a little bit high? But you kind of low there.
Is this better?
Yeah, you low, brother. Low.
How about now? I think I was just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, they said that hostile work environment. That's the thing that stuck out to me because y'all know how black women are when they get in charge. They get stuff done, and it sounds like this police department is used to just doing whatever they want and mistreating people and not following the rule of law. Now you got somebody that's going to actually make them actually take care of business properly and manage them, and that's what they don't like, and especially because it's coming from somebody that's a black female. And it's probably best that they quit because she probably got a long list of rules that they need to follow. I think that's what happened.
Damn, like they couldn't even get a sister a chance to even get up in there. Like they already had this, and then they start having, when they start having these back room meetings and whatnot, and you could just imagine the type of language they're using to describe this sister. You could just imagine the kind of adjectives they calling her and calling her every name but damn a daughter of a child of God and whatnot. So you could just imagine the type of vitriol and hatred. And you're right. And we posted this, and a lot of people were saying, well, hey, that's good. Hopefully all of them will go ahead and quit so we can get a police force that's entirely black. And my thing is, if we can get one that's entirely black, as long as they on code, because we got to also remember, just having somebody in there the same color as us don't always benefit us either, because some of the nastiest cops in this country are black cops because they're out there trying to prove that they actually down with a team. So they'd be almost as quick to bash your head as a white man would. So as long as we get those that's on code, those that's willing to go ahead, and just like how we talk about our politicians, we need to start vetting the actual people that's coming, that's going to be patrolling our communities and whatnot. That's one thing when they talk about doing police reform, that, yeah, we want to have people that look like us in our neighborhoods that's here to protect and serve. But we also want to make sure that these people that we put in there are people that we seen growing up from the time they were kids, from the time they was at church and school and Little League and this and that. People that have been properly vetted, that have the right mindset to go out there, and who not just looking to get in the shootout, or who just not looking to kill somebody or whatever, just to prove a point. People that's also that's willing to go out there and walk the extra mile to protect the actual community. And that's something I feel like we don't have right now in the black community. Because we got too many white people in the damn police force that patrol neighborhoods and stuff with people they have nothing in common with. They have absolutely nothing in common with the people they're protecting. They already have these preconceived notions and biases about black people. A lot of them think that black people are nothing but thugs and gang members and this and that and deviants and whatnot. So when you come in there with that mindset, that notion already, like these white people here at the police department that went ahead and quit and folded in and left or whatnot because they already had this preconceived notion about this black woman that she couldn't possibly serve in a leadership role. She couldn't possibly be their boss. She couldn't possibly bring something to the table because she's black first and foremost. For all my feminist sisters in here that may say that she got discriminated first because she was a woman. No, she got discriminated first because she was black, and secondly because she was a woman. Lawrence, go ahead and unmute your mic.
That city is 35% black, 36% white, and the rest is everybody else. So there's no reason why black people should not be going down there taking over that police force. You know, it's probably the easiest job to get because they ain't got nobody now, and there's no complaint. It doesn't require anything to become a cop. You know, a GED, that's all you need. It's really easy. And if we want people to police us that look like us, somebody needs to be telling them people, go down to that station. They need chiefs, they need police, and get that job because it's honestly split down the middle in terms of population with white and black. So black people need to go take that over.
And you did a great job of checking out the statistics and stats. So basically, it's split. It's right down the middle. So if it's like that, then you also need black people to also get into more of the power structure. Like, I mean, you need to run for mayor. You need to start running for city councilman, Congress, for all of the stuff in that local area and whatnot. County commissioner, city commissioner, whatever it is, and it's good to see that she was the city manager or whatever. But you need to get black people more of a power structure. When you have an even split like that, almost, that means that when it comes time to cast a vote, that it's pretty much anybody's ball game. So things like this is when we need to try to seize power and whatnot, and just not sit around like black majority state is trying to do a man up in the space right here. They're trying to go ahead and get a majority black state, something that, I mean, I don't know if there's, in modern times, has there ever been a majority black state. I think we've only had 2 black governors in the entire time, and one was at the Reconstruction, and then you had Wild, I believe, in Virginia. So that lets you know the state of affairs that what we're facing right here in the country, whatnot. So the fact of the matter, for all these years, we've had really one black governor in anybody's lifetime, and I'm sure that when Wilder became the governor, most of the people in this space, most of us weren't even alive. So that lets you know what we need to be working on. We worry about the national politics so much. We worry about the presidential election. And unfortunately, we'll come out to that presidential election. We'll come out in heavy force, but for like local things with memorandums and stuff that's going to be directly impacting us in our city and our state, we don't show up, man. We don't come out and voice and whatnot. And that's not to say that you need to go out and vote unless there's actual tangibles on the actual on the table, because I know a lot of brothers and sisters talking about sitting out elections, the upcoming midterms and the presidential election in 2024. And I don't blame them if there's nothing that's going to benefit black people as a whole. I don't just see going up there casting your vote. A lot of times people want to play your dead ancestors' sorrow game on you and talk about they didn't die for this and they didn't die for that, but they didn't die for you to go up there and look like a fool and just keep putting people in power that's going to keep neglecting you. So I believe I was in a space today. I believe Bishop Tabor was saying, he said something to the fact that that the Democrats want our vote, but they don't want our voice. And that's something that is so real. That they don't mind you voting. They love the fact that you vote because you are the most loyal voting bloc in the history of this country. But they don't want to hear nothing you got to say. They don't hear anything you got to say about anything that you say that can empower your community has to empower everybody else. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
That was definitely a great quote that you said, and I definitely want to touch on something that you just said. Like I said this before, our ancestors didn't die so we could just vote. Our ancestors died so we could get something from our vote, so we could become free. They died for liberation, emancipation, equality, etc. They didn't die for us to just, like I said, we're supposed to get something for our vote. Back in their time, voting for them was the tactic that they used in their lifetime that they felt will get them the most, I should say that will get them the desired result. These days, we can just withhold our vote and basically make them come beg us to come vote. If that's what we need to do, that's just what we need to do. But I'm probably not going to vote this year, to be honest.
Ray, I'm not mad at you because I'm leaning that way. Like I say, it's all about who's up and what they're gonna do. Because here in Florida, we both here in Florida and whatnot, and I'm trying to look at some of the people in the local area up here in Tallahassee and whatnot. I think you believe out there in Pensacola area or whatnot. So I'm with you, man. Even when we're talking about, like you see in terms of state elections, you got Val Demings running against Mario Rubio for senator. And Val, even though she's a black woman and whatnot, Val Demings is a former cop. And it's not anything wrong with a former cop. Like I say, if you have the right mindset and the right agenda. But Val Dim is already, you see on her advertisements and stuff, her commercials, she's already telling you it is a silly thing to talk about defund the police and not get out of here with that garbage and yada yada yada. So she's trying, because we're in Florida, and let's be for real, we got a bunch of rednecks here, and you got to try to placate to them to a certain amount if you want to win. So she's trying to let you know she's talking about her storied career in criminal justice and whatnot, and so she's trying to stand on that, and she's trying to use that as a way to go ahead and bolster her credibility with the majority here in Florida and whatnot. Let you know that she's tough on crime and she's tough on this, and she was talking about how crime decreased under her and this and that. So yeah, in good faith, I just can't. I couldn't possibly vote for Val Demings. I got people in my family, they love it. They talk about they gonna vote for her and this and that, but she already came out and she's been blasted to defund the police and whatnot. And that's a Democrat talking point right there. They're trying to get away from defund the police, and they're not even talking about police reform anymore. So if you're not going to talk about defund the police, you can at least talk about police reform. And they're trying to stay away of those topics. They don't want anything about defund the police. They're steering away from reform the police, and they even steering away from ending qualified immunity. So based off of what she's talking about, I don't have to hear a whole bunch of stuff because I know more than likely she's going to be against reparations as well. Ray, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Since we're talking about politics, I just wanted to add this in before the conversation gets back on track. Family, did anyone see the Biden press conference with her name? I think it's John Pierre, whatever her name is, that Haitian lady.
The Haitian lady, I didn't get a chance to see her.
Did y'all see that they've actually redefined what a recession is? And technically, from what I'm reading, we've kind of been in a recession for at least a couple months now. The Biden administration hasn't really said anything, and like they quietly went behind the scenes without saying nothing. They went and changed stuff up without saying anything. So we got to go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I believe from what somebody said, because I was listening to some on the way to the house there, I was listening to some what they call it, the political radio commentator, and I'm just flipping, and this was a bunch of conservatives, so you know how they have their anti-vitriol for black people as well. But basically what he was saying was that I think a recession, if something about 2 quarters or something, if you suffer two setbacks in the quarters, and I didn't hear it all. I guess like you said, automatically we're already in a recession right now, but everybody's trying to ignore it. They're not trying to talk about it. They're trying to downplay that you're in an actual recession. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, they don't really want to talk about that, but based on what people are saying, man, like, we are already kind of in a recession right now. I mean, look at damn gas prices, look at inflation, look at everything. I mean, look at the food prices. I mean, prices are up 9% this year compared to last year. So if that ain't a recession, then I don't know what it is. DJ, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, so always remember, when we are coming out of war, we go automatically into a recession. So if you remember the war during the Bush era, or whatever the case be, and Clinton and all these other jokers, every time we came out of war, we went right into a recession. So we don't usually see it until it's way, way too late. We're talking a year, 2 years down the line, where it'll start affecting you. Obviously, and then you got the inflation issues because Russia and Ukraine at war. So the gas prices are high, like you said. Milk is $5 a gallon. A lot of these other things that seem to be not even have to do with like a recession or inflation. Why are these meat packing plants getting burned down? The egg packing plants, they're getting burned down. So that's another thing to look at, causing the price to rise up on food and all types of goods. We still have an issue with the tariff situation, dealing with like electronics coming from China. I don't look at that as a bad thing because America needs to start building their own electronics again and having things made in America. Just to yield on the voting situation, right? I understand, as far as maybe being a Democrat or whatever, there ain't nobody that you're looking forward to vote for. So if you don't have anyone to actually vote for, you should go vote for closed border candidates. And obviously that will pretty much be just about any Republican for the most part. So even though you may not have anyone to vote, you can vote, despite the Democrats, just vote red down a ticket, or you can always vote down ballot, meaning put in your concerns. So in the Democratic, obviously, slot where it would say write in your vote, you can write in reparations, you can write in healthcare, you can write in black agenda, you can can write just about anything in there, and your vote still counts. So make sure y'all go vote. You ain't got to go vote for anybody that's on the ticket if you ain't feeling them, but at least go. You could go vote for yourself. By the way, too, go write in Ray Smith. Feel me? Go ahead, Ray.
Not trying to switch subjects, but since we're on politics and just things of that nature, I want to let all of the family know that's in the space that the word that rhymes with groomers has been banned as hate speech on Twitter. I want to make sure I bring that up. So it really goes to question, who are these people trying to protect if they're banning the word that rhymes with groomers?
Yeah, I heard that. I definitely heard something like that earlier. So yeah, I mean, it's
I
Twitter,
didn't say it. I don't want to get your page dinged. That's why I didn't say the word.
Yeah, I heard it earlier. I don't know if I was in the space or whatnot, but they made mention of that too. So yeah, I definitely heard that. Is there anybody that wants to comment on this actual particular subject right here? Because if so, now's a great time to raise your hand. We're willing to listen to anybody. So anybody that has anything they want to add to it or comment on or whatever, just talking about the way that this black woman is being treated, the way you have a bunch of cowards who done left up out of here because they do not want to take orders from a black woman. They feel that she's inferior. They feel like she has no business being up there. Now is a good time as any to come on up here and request to speak. Just raise your hand. We'll definitely go ahead and let you speak. There's a couple other different articles also I'm going to cover tonight. So this is kind of like our news session here too. Like I want to go ahead and get back to doing what we was doing, man. Dropping a few news articles, nightly as well, trying to inform the people, trying to keep them up to date. Newstoter has so much information that I couldn't possibly put all of the stuff up here and read it. It's just we'd be up at a damn 2 o'clock in the morning. So I see and I don't want to. I'm just say God. I mean, it's kind of hard to pronounce the first name. So
how you doing, brother? My name is pronounced Rico. Rico the God.
Oh, Rico. Okay. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. Just to talk about the topic. I just hope that foundational Black Americans be, actually take control of the situation. If they want, they're just white folks. So if they don't want to, they want to resign. Let them resign. Since we know that it's 36 to 37% black, I just hope that black people in that community will come together and do what they have to do to become officers and things like that. Because right now it's a power grab. So I mean, if they don't want to do the job, hopefully the black people in that community will be willing to do their job, and I just leave it at that.
No doubt. Appreciate it. For everybody that's in the space, please go ahead and tweet the space out. For those that are new to the space, please go ahead and follow the host and the co-host. Newstoter is the largest curator today of black news today in America, the largest news aggregator, the largest black-owned news aggregator that is of black news today in America. We put out more content than anybody else, so please go ahead and make sure you follow the host and the co-host. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can follow us at Newstoter. Same on Instagram as well. So please make sure that you're keeping up with the content. If you want to keep up with daily news and breaking news and this and that, you guys already know how we do. Put out over 20 some odd articles a day right here on Twitter. So we're putting out that content daily. Ray, I see you got your hand up. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
I think DJ was ahead of me.
DJ. No, go ahead, bro. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I just wanted to add this. I should just tell you what's really going on in America. When you have an entire group of people that are willing to quit their job in the middle of recession as opposed to working under a black woman, that is just really, really sad. And, we're down here in Florida, me and Newstoter. It's just crazy down here because these same people that are supposed to protect and serve, when they get off, the first thing they do is hop in a doggone truck with Confederate flags. So that should tell you what their mindset is right there.
Not only that, but these are the same dumbasses that tell you that they should be getting more federal funds and they should be getting more money put into them and don't cut funding. We need more dollars. We need more this. We need more that. We need more military trials, weapons. We need more training. We need more this. We need more that. But yet the first, like I say, the woman that hasn't done anything and showing their true colors, showing their true lineage from the clan. They went right ahead on, and they're gonna show the people. They're gonna even show the white people in their town. You gonna hide this negress, then we gonna stick it to all y'all. So they gonna show their own people that they mean business. You get rid of her, and we'll consider coming back. Woman hasn't done anything. Track record is up to par. You know it's got to be up to par. They're going to bring it to some like Kinley, North Carolina. I don't even know where the hell Kinley, North Carolina is, but if they're going to bring it to some little town like that, you know that her track record has got to be up to par, up to snuff. But here they come. They're going to come in here and they're gonna play these games like this right here. And they're gonna try to stick it, like I said, not only stick it to her, but they're gonna stick it to their own people. They're sticking it to their own people from saying, hey, you should have knew better than to bring this black woman up in here. We don't take orders from no black woman. So this is the mindset of white supremacy at work right here. This woman has done nothing to anyone. She's been a success every place she's been at. And they're gonna sit up here and they're gonna quit. And they just gonna abandon. This is what you call abandoning your post right here. Right? You was in the military, you know something about it. They done just went ahead and they done abandoned their post and they acting like spoiled kids who done spilled the milk or whatever. Just unbelievable the type of mindset that you have in this country right here. And like I say, if you think that's bad, I got another article that I'm going to read to y'all. Like I said, that's why I want to see anybody that wants to go ahead and comment on this right here. Let me give a shout out to my man DJ and to Brother Moku for supporting Newstoter on Cash App as well. Thank you, brothers, for always supporting Newstoter. I definitely appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. If anybody wants to contribute, it is $Newstoter. $Newstoter is a Cash App. $Newstoter. Ray, go ahead and unmute your DJ. You want to go? Which one of y'all want to go first?
I'll let Brother Ray go. I'm actually looking for an article right now.
I'm gonna be real short. So I came in a little bit late in the space. What was the official reason? Obviously, we all know is they don't want to take orders from a black woman. But what official reason have they put out saying this is why everyone is quit?
She's quote unquote is too progressive. Her background is too progressive, whatever the hell that means. She's too progressive. I guess she's too far thinking. She's too far left. She's too far liberal. Woman hasn't even come in and done anything, but she's already too far left and too far this and too far that. Hadn't put any policies into place. Hasn't done anything with the budget or anything else. Hasn't hired anybody, appointed anybody, fired anybody. Hasn't done anything. But she's too progressive. She's too far left. That's what they saying. And in layman terms, she's too black. Because that's the only when you could come up here and somebody hasn't even taken the post, hasn't done anything in terms of managerial type anything like that, and you sitting up here talking about this person is too this, too that. Yeah, we pretty much know what it is already. We know exactly what you're talking about. The woman is too black. She's a woman. And you good old boys don't think that she was even qualified to get this position. This was an affirmative action hire. This was a PC move that you did to appease the colors in town. So yeah, they pissed off about it. And like I said, like just like when you used to be at the playground and then you playing with one kid and he gets upset because he loses and he take his ball and he goes home. This is what this was right here. This is a perfect scenario of what that was. Somebody gets upset, they take their ball and they go home, and now you can't play the game no more because this spoiled brat here done left. So that's what it boils down to. Pretty much the hatred that goes on already. And like you say, we know how these southern towns work. We know it's all throughout the country, Midwest, West, Southeast, whatever. But there's a special kind of hatred down here in these southern states as well too. And some of these smaller towns, these smaller communities like that's been used to white people just absolutely having their way running things like that. Like we say, the best bet for them would be to just clean house, go ahead and get that police department all black. And hopefully they'll do the same thing with the firefighters. They'll go ahead and clear out too, and we can have an all-black firefighter squad as well too. So go ahead and keep quitting. Go ahead and keep running. So we can go ahead, let the mayor clear out, let everybody else clear out, and go ahead and take control of that city, man. Go ahead, Ray.
It should be no surprise, but I'm just gonna tell y'all a quick story about when I grew up. So I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, which is, you probably know where that's at, Toter, if you know where Tallahassee, since you're from Tallahassee.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was raised in Valdosta, man, and I went to the school called Lowndes High School. After high school, the year I graduated, which was in 2005, we had this boy. Well, they do senior pranks and things like that, but normally senior pranks are supposed to be funny. He actually took black baby dolls, and we have this like huge oak tree, that's in the front of the school. I don't know if it's still there now because obviously I graduated in 05. It's 2020 now. But yeah, he took these black baby dolls and he hung the doggone baby dolls up in the trees. And, we come to school and, we're like, what the fuck? What is really going on? And they was like, oh, well, it's just a senior prank and, it ain't that big of a deal. Like, that shit should have been damn news all over Georgia. And when I tell you, got swept on the rug. And then that same high school that I went to, if you guys were following the news, I forget what, I believe it was in 2009, 2010. There was a boy that went to my school named Kendrick Johnson.
He got rolled up in the mat.
Yeah, that was at my old high school. I used to play in that same gym where he got found. He got rolled up in the gym mat. Not the cemetery. What's the place where they go when they we actually go and they actually take the organs out and stuff? The Undertaker, the funeral home. The funeral home that he went to. It's called Harrington Funeral Home. Harrington Funeral Home is ran by a guy named Antonio Harrington and his father. His cousin is actually married into my family, which is kind of weird because when you have a murder like that, and then when you send somebody off, and then they come back and they don't have none of their organs missing, and their fingernails are missing, they've been beat, they rolled them in the gym mat, and they're saying no, there's no foul play. Y'all gotta really. People got to really understand what's going on in some of these southern states. These people are fucking insane with their racism sometimes, and I'm just being honest.
That's why, like black majority state, we need to go ahead and we need to outnumber these people. In states that's close to, 40% of the population, or states that's even 30% of the population, we need to go ahead and outnumber these people and go ahead and take over local politics. I wish we could do that in Florida, but Florida is just, that ain't gonna happen. It'll take about 15 million of us to move to Florida for that probably to happen. But yeah, man, it's ridiculous the way they do stuff. So I definitely remember that story. And then the family's still been trying to get results about that, and they just went ahead and they dropped the investigation. So they'll never know, how did this kid get rolled up in the mat and die like that, and nobody knows, and this and that. It's just BS. Go ahead, Ray. You got your hand up, Ray? I wonder if Ray might be in the Matrix. Yeah, I think Ray is in the Matrix. DJ, you want to go ahead and add something?
Yeah, just add in on what everybody's saying as far as like the police force, like, up here in Jersey, we got multiple folks, like, like our sister Anla, just going through hell, all because of these white supremacists, and that are in law enforcement are ostracizing our sister. And she's not the only one. You got a bunch of black women that were, captains or sheriffs or some type of, somewhere in law enforcement or whatever the case be, that has been ostracized by the white, delegation of the police force. Whereas that, they don't want not just, a black person, but specifically a black woman doing any type of leadership, don't want them saying anything, and kind of want them to go along and get along when the white race soldiers do something to, out of the rules, or, do something to a person, a black person in general. They want you to go along and get along type stuff. So, always, research the information that's in the Jumbotron, and start reporting and tweeting this stuff, man, and sharing it with your friends and family, because this is the only way we could get the information out. Remember, the white news media ain't going to tell you about any of this stuff. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm sorry, I got dropped. Like, literally just dropped just randomly. So I just wanted to answer Todd's question real quick. The case with Kendra Johnson, they said that he was trying to get a retriever's shoe, and instead of using common sense like anybody else would, just knocking the damn mat over and getting the shoe, they're saying that this young man decided to dive head first into the mat to retrieve the shoe and got stuck, which makes no damn sense. And considering this dude had cuts and bruises all over his face, and the fact that the shoe that he was reaching for didn't have any blood on the shoe, but had blood up on it, I don't even want to. It pisses me off when I think about it. They just straight up got away with straight up murder with this kid. How the hell you gonna dive in for a shoe and you don't have any blood on the shoe? You upside down, but no blood on the shoe. They got blood up under the shoe, pools of blood. They killed that boy and rolled him up, and then they covered it up.
Yeah, they definitely did that, and like I say, and it because we heard because I'm like I say we're in Tallahassee, so we get the North Florida and the Southern Georgia news, whatever. So we heard that, and everybody was shaking their head like, yeah, this sounds like complete and total BS right here, total BS. And like I said, the family has never got any satisfaction. They've never got any justice for this poor kid's death right here, and they've done autopsies and this and that or whatever, but it's just they just didn't want to go ahead and put the finger at the guilty person, so they just went ahead and we just like I say, nobody believes this at all, whatever. So it is what it is. And anybody has anything they want to add to this discussion here before we go on to the next article, we can always come back here. I just want to go ahead and curate another article, just read another article, let you guys know what's going on. So if anybody has something that they want to add to the story, DJ, you got your hand up. You want to say something?
Yeah, just researching. They are definitely trying to reopen the case of Kendrick Johnson. So rest in peace to that young brother. You know what I mean? Hopefully, he could get some justice. The same way we're trying to get justice for brother Emmett Till all these years later. You know what I mean? Arrest Carolyn Bryant Dunham. We on the hunt for you, old lady. You going to jail, man. End of story. You know what I mean?
All right. I said we got Jess with her hand up, and then we got Brother Moku. So Jess, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, everyone. I just wanted to come in. How you guys doing?
All good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That's good. I just wanted to come in and talk about the city. What was that in North Carolina? That everybody quit.
Yes, it was.
Wow. Okay, so I came in and part of that story, I was actually listening to the radio earlier, and I heard some details about that. Didn't they say that I heard that they said that they left because of the hostile work environment. Did you not?
Yeah, that's what
Was
they
that
claim.
not the case?
Yeah, that's what they claim. But like I said, there's no proof of any hostile work environment because before they got there, they was talking about that the lady's whole career was based off basically being a progressive. So they felt it was going to create a hostile workplace. But like I say, what hostile workplace was it?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out because I'm like, wasn't she just recently hired? How? What was the case? Like they didn't have anything other than that they were saying.
The case was this is what it boils down to is that this was a black woman that came up in there and they weren't about to take no orders or listen to no black woman. That's what it all boils down to. They want to talk about her past, but like I say, this woman's record, from what they're saying, was impeccable. Had almost close to 20 years of service, and from what everybody was saying, that she graded out high, that she always did a great job. So it's
must
crazy.
Be a lot of jobs available in that city. What are they doing? Does she still have her job?
To my knowledge, she does. Now they're saying that if they fire her and let her go, then they'll think about coming back. So they're pretty much giving an ultimatum: go ahead and get rid of her, and we'll think about coming back here.
Oh, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't. That is crazy that they all quit. I wonder if they're gonna let them get their what they call 401k or whatever they get from the city. You think they're gonna allow them to get that from doing that?
I'm pretty sure they would, because when they kill people, unarmed people, and blow their heads off and stuff like that, they still allow them to get their retirements for the most part. So I don't see why them leaving and quitting, they would stop them on that. I could be wrong, but if you're allowed to kill people and then get put on paid suspension and still get your retirement and stuff like that, I don't see why if you quit, why you shouldn't be able to get it. Like, I mean, they let you do everything else, so.
That's a good point. I'm just trying to figure out what I need to let people know that got city jobs. They got a whole bunch of openings open in the city over there. What city was it?
It was called Kinley. I never even heard of Kinley, North Carolina, but that's what it's called, Kinley.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Okay.
No problem, sister. Appreciate you chiming into the conversation tonight. Definitely appreciate that. Let's see, Brother Moku, you next.
Were you able to hear me?
We were able to hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you guys heard. I was so appreciative. I'm thankful I found y'all space today so I can hear the news and hear what's going on for us.
No doubt. And this is, remember, Newstoter is the largest curator of black news a day in America. So we definitely put the content out. And if you're looking on Twitter, you will definitely see us put out about 15 to 20 articles a day. So just go ahead and keep an eye out for that. And we put out some great content, a great mixture of news, politics, education, business, you name it. So lifestyle, we try to do our best to curate news from the top black media sources that we can. So we thank everybody that's in the space that supports us. So we thank you to all of you guys.
Just make sure you get in a jumbotron and check that information in there, okay? Go ahead, brother McCool. What's up, my dog?
Brother McCool, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, fam? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, this title of this room is definitely. I was reading this article and I was just giving my hats off to the black woman. Seems like she's all about compensatory justice, and the white supremacists ain't like it, so they quit. So I'm all good with that. I mean, shit, we need to get some more black women in office so some more of these police can quit. But
that's what I say, bro. I say, I hope the firefighters go next. I hope the damn mayor's office take over the entire damn city because it's almost split evenly. So go ahead I want them all to quit. Go ahead and take the city over.
Exactly, dude. So I'm with you, man. And as far as our brother Kendrick, definitely condolences to his family on not getting justice yet. I believe those two white boys that he had an altercation with, his father was in law enforcement, and that's why the boys got off.
FBI agent.
There you go, FBI agent. Thank you, my brother. Absolutely. I was watching the special one that about had to be close to a year ago, and I was just really upset me to see that. But unfortunately, that has been happening in our school systems for decades. I mean, I went to high school, vocational high school up here in Baltimore, and I graduated in '93. I remember back in '92, one of my friends died mysteriously in the swimming pool, and I didn't think much of it then because I was like, when you're a child, you're not really in a mind frame of thinking like that. But now, being an adult and knowing what racism, white supremacy is, and being that he was in the swimming pool during school hours by himself, no one seen him. This type of thing has always been happening. And these teachers, I feel a lot of these white teachers, white female teachers, are complicit in letting a lot of these things slip past. Years and years of bullying, knowing things in and out of the classroom. They just let this stuff go past. And matter of fact, I'm gonna just say it's all. They all.
That's it for you, brother. You good? Or you want to add something else? Or that's it?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll learn there.
No problem. Goddess, you up next. Unmute your mic.
Hey, how everybody doing? I see the title. Kinley is a white town primarily, and if you blink, you would be out of it. So it's very, very a small little town that is like you snap your fingers. That's it. So they don't even have a stoplight. So there you have it.
Damn, is that small?
Yes.
So it's like Mayberry almost then.
And on the way, it's a back street that you can go from Raleigh to Fayetteville. And you pass right by there, and it's like I said, snap your fingers. It's a little small sign on the side, and if you blink, you won't see the sign either that says Kinley. It's not even a big sign. It's a little half a sign, and it says a little Kinley off to the side. But yeah, it's not big at all. And when y'all were talking about the person, your friend being found in water, that just reminded me of something that started me thinking about this. This guy, when I was probably about a year after we graduated high school, there's a lake, if you know anything about Raleigh, it's called Lake Willard.
and he was known for dating white girls, him and his brother. And one day he came up missing, and they were looking for him. And then they said probably about 2 o'clock midnight. I said midnight, 2 in the morning. They found his car mysteriously parked on the side of the road and found him floating in Lake Willow.
It's funny how you always have all these mysterious deaths when it's surrounding black people, and they'll investigate for a few weeks or whatever and drop it, and then talk about they couldn't find anything, all was inconclusive and all this other stuff. For a white person, I mean, it could be 50 years later, and they still trying to figure out exactly what happened with a black person.
Suicide. How is it? When you see somebody jump in the water, a black person, they kill themselves.
I ain't never heard of that myself. That black person, I've heard of black people commit suicide and stuff before, and I've heard different ways of doing it, but I've never heard anybody actually trying to drown themselves by suicide. Like, so that's a first for me.
There's no bridge there at all either. So it's not like he could have jumped over a bridge to try to say, "Hey, I'm gonna kill myself." There is no bridge. If you go there, you drive up there is a lake. So you drive up there, park your little car, then you walk down there to the lake. So there's no bridge, but he was found in that water.
Now, I know Lawrence was in there, he was saying that the city was almost like 37% white and 36% black. So it seemed like it was almost an even split in terms of the actual population there.
And Harnett County and Johnston County are known for, they used to be like sundown towns, and Kinley is in that area. They are a lot of white people in that area, whether it be as far as that town. I do know in that area is predominantly white.
Okay, just checking because I've never been up in that area, so I guess Lawrence had looked online and saw some of the stats or whatever about the population or whatever, but. Either way, like I said, we pretty much know the idea that this black woman came, and the fact that she was, I believe her title was city manager, and you had a bunch of white folks that didn't like that, namely white men, but white women as well too. They don't like that kind of stuff either. They feel like no black woman should be over them and this and that. So the fact that this sister came in, she had the actual record to back up her hiring and whatnot. Every time you have a black person get a position of a white person, there's always got to be ulterior motives. There's always got to be affirmative action. There's always got to be quotas. You could never be as qualified or as smart or deserving as them. So the fact that they came in there, this woman came in there, they didn't even give her a chance. They talk about she was so progressive and all this other nonsense. They were looking for a reason, and they went ahead and, like I said, these are the same people that talk about giving the police and giving law enforcement more of a budget, increasing their budget, giving them more money, giving them more of this, giving them more of that. And these people went right ahead and they abandoned their posts and they quit on their job, and they quit on their people in the city. So what happened when people need you for crime and whatnot, and you know where to be found? You done quit. So this is a reflection of white supremacy getting upset and trying to stick it to their own people for the hire. God and sister, you got anything you want to add on before we move to the next speaker?
No, I was just saying, as far as like I was saying, that county that Kinley is in Johnston County, and that particular county, particularly Benson, North Carolina, is a straight up KKK stomping area. Johnston County is known primarily to be a racist county. So, yeah, the whole county. I'm not talking about half, the whole. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. She may be better off going and getting her another job someplace else just to get away from these rednecks, and be real about it too. I know the sister, she's deserving of what she got and whatnot, but you also got to think about your own personal safety and whatnot. And these people this pissed off already this early in your tenure, ain't no telling what they can do or what type of accident, quote unquote, you might have. So I hope this sister, she definitely, hopefully she's definitely okay down there, and she's got a husband or something to help protect her and whatnot, because ain't no telling what these necks might do down there. Insane, you're next. Insane, you're next. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's happening, Newstoter? Kind Productions. Good space. Much need to be talked about. Good point, FBA Goddess.
those of us that are local know really what's going on in that area. Historically, the most infamous thing that that county is known for is a billboard that was once advertised and loudly proclaimed, "Welcome to Johnston County, home of the Ku Klux Klan." Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about that big old. Remember that big old Confederate flag they got on 95?
It doesn't surprise me. I just know at one time they had a billboard that said "Welcome" at somewhere on some highway that welcomed travelers, and the billboard stated
"Welcome." Well, now it's a Confederate flag. It's a huge, big Confederate flag. If anybody's traveling from Virginia going to Florida, South Carolina, whatever, on 95, you're going to pass that flag. It's on your right hand side, of course, because you're going towards the south, so you're going to see it. It's huge, and it's in Johnston County. It's a huge Confederate flag.
I think to a certain degree there's some positives and some negatives to take away here. Exactly who are we looking at when we see this belief chief? Obviously white. Who is he? What does he represent? It can't be, suggested that he represents the right, because what's being revealed, I feel, is just like Reagan had his Democrats. We mustn't forget that Biden also has his Republicans, and that's for a reason. And no one on a national level is addressing that, because probably they've been advised not to. Where is Stacey Abrams? She was all up in Virginia campaigning in the last gubernatorial race. I mean, where are these people? Where is G.K. Butterfield, goddess, down there in the eastern part of the state? He's a member of the CBC, if I'm correct. Where's he at on this? No one is.
Somewhere eating some biscuits.
Yeah, no one's saying anything, because quiet as is kept. They cannot forget that there are some Biden Republicans out there. So what are we really and truly looking at here? And it is also a reminder that the trope that some women, I'm not suggesting her, but some well-heeled, well-educated women, black women in particularly, aspire to escape their blackness by this whole thing about being highly educated and being the independent, strong backbone of the Democratic Party, which is a wedge issue. It's a wedge issue, and constantly we're seeing these confrontations with highly educated black women. There was a black woman in Georgia who was run out of 2 counties largely because of the same type of issue. And she was run out by the PTA in one county, and they followed her to the next county and made sure that she wasn't able to be successful there in securing a job. It's the same thing. Then you look at what happened to Judge Hatchett in the wake of the Ketanji Brown Jackson appointment. Means nothing. This man had his hands all over that woman, all over her, and she's in a field that Ketanji's in. So that appointment meant nothing in terms of securing any type of protection for the young single black mother out here working a common, everyday, ordinary job. It means nothing. So in that way, it's a good thing to see this notion being challenged. You cannot escape your blackness through credentials or through being a part of any kind of alphabet mafia. So in a way, it's good. I'm sorry she experienced that, but at the end of the day, it's revealing. And again, I can't say enough about who we might be looking at that could very well be one of Biden's Republicans. And I'll land my plane there.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Brother Insane. We got Ray, DJ, and Brother Moku. DJ, go ahead and hold it down 1 second. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Go ahead, Todd.
I'm just gonna add this in really quick. We really can learn something for this family. Do y'all see how uncode these people are? The second they didn't like something, they organized and you know what? We ain't dealing with this. So I was just gonna say that let's just make sure we learn something and use that to our advantage going forward.
Yeah, that's called white flight, right? I picked up on that years ago. White flight, you know what I mean? So, with Brother Black Majority State, when he be speaking on our Black State of America, we just start relocating that down to the south. Georgia, North, South Carolina, wherever you might want to be. Maybe even Maryland or up here in the further north in the Delaware. They gonna leave with no repercussions. So it's just start getting our stuff together as far as to start building our Black State of America. But go ahead, Brother McCool.
That was an interesting point, Brother Ray. But I would just like to add to the room. I mean, you got the whole police department walking on just because of one black woman. Imagine how they going to act when we get that black anti-black hate crime bill. How about that? They really going to go off that. You think you see white supremacists walking on the police department now? Because they let them pass a crime bill for black people. Man, they really going to go off.
Man, facts on that, bro. 100%, bro. 100%. And you pay attention to just this little one small case now, and you look in the Jumbotron to see what's going on with our black sisters that are in law enforcement or higher positions of power. I'm pretty sure they get this same rhetoric, but y'all sisters, y'all gotta start speaking up to us brothers as well and the rest of the family so we can start checking that shit. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Rick.
I wasn't sure if it was Goddess or I believe it's Insane Optimist. Please forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. I just want to know that picture that I sent to DJ that he posted. Is that the sign that you guys were talking about?
Look in the Jumbotron, y'all. Look in the Jumbotron all the way to the left.
The one that says "Welcome to Clan Country" or something to that notion.
Make sure y'all retweet that stuff in the Jumbotron. Share the information. Not just here up on Twitter, but share it with your contacts on your phone.
Oh, yeah, I'm back now.
Hey, Sister Goddess, you there? Or Brother Insane?
Yeah, I'm here trying to look at it. Hold on one moment.
For sure, Mom.
I know when I left, it was Brother Insane. It was Insane, and it was Ray. Then it was you, DJ, and it was Brother Moku next.
No, I already said my little piece. The only thing I added. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, guys?
That's that picture. But they have a Confederate flag there. They don't have it signed there no more. It's a Confederate flag now that's in that area.
So they took down one racist sign, put up another one, basically.
The sign that they had displayed, it specifically said, "Welcome to Johnston County." But there were many of those signs throughout the South, and that may very, very well, that obviously is another one. But there was a sign at one point that specifically said, "Welcome to Johnston County, home of the Ku Klux Klan." And the imagery on this sign was similar to the imagery on that older sign. Yeah. So the imagery is spot on, but it doesn't specifically state the sign that you posted. Doesn't specifically state Johnston County. But yes, there was a sign in the history of this state that said, "Welcome to Johnston County, home of the Ku Klux Klan." Yeah.
And don't forget about those little signs that told you about. Make sure you get about this town. I know, I can remember as a child walking in Benson. That's why I picked it out, and that's part of Johnson County. We were just walking downtown. She was going to try to buy me some shoes to wear to church, and I remember, I don't know how old I was young, but this truck came driving by, and they hollered out the window, "Hey, you niggers!" I remember that, and I was a child. And, all we were doing is she was trying to just buy me some shoes. That's it.
That's crazy, though. And you was a child and you had to hear all of that. Brother Moku, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, actually, Brother Moku spoke and the same spoke at the same time. That we actually went around real quick before you came right back up. So I guess it's going right now. Or Brother Moku want to speak, I guess, you know.
Okay, then Ray, go ahead and mute your mic.
Yeah, my fault. Rick can go ahead. I said what I had to say. I just wanted to make that little point.
You there, Ray? Ray may be having some issues. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, man. I got caught in the Matrix. I couldn't hear nothing you guys were saying for like 30 seconds. I was just gonna add, because I know you stepped away. I pointed out the fact that, you know, even though these guys, they organized, they just left, we can actually learn something from that. Because if they ain't gonna take it, if we see something that we don't like, I know you were gone. We can do the same thing. Like, hey, we can just up and leave. Let y'all deal with that bullshit. We ain't gotta take stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was just piggybacking off of Ray. You know, that's called white flight when these jokers leave, but you know that already, Todd. So let's start to get our black state of America going, because when we start flooding back into the South, they is going to leave with no opposition, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Ray, go ahead. I see you got your hand back up.
I would say this. One thing that I think that would be very helpful, well, I speak for myself. Obviously, if anyone's heard me, I know I'm real big on guns. The second any type of bill, anything is going to be passed, the first thing they do is they're sending out letters, emails, etc. I think we should have the same thing with just our local news to let us know, hey, this is what's going on. If one of our babies is kidnapped, you know, we can have our own type of Amber Alert type of thing. We need that type of stuff. We can't depend on them to, you know, the other communities to do that type of stuff for us. That's something we can organize and do for ourselves.
No doubt, I definitely agree with that. We definitely have to have our own. We have to have our own outlets and everything as well. That, you know what I'm saying, that's outside of mainstream America, because they could shut us off at any time, and you never know. If they shut us off, then what we gonna do?
Exactly. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about that. They can talk down about us every single night, and there's nothing we can do, because we as black people, we don't have a black news network that we can tune into to get news from our perspective of what's going on in the world.
Goddess, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I put in a Jumbotron a news thing where they were having a meeting. I don't know if y'all saw that already, but they had a closed meeting about the situation, and you do have black people that were up there, and then you see little white folks that's you know, against her, of course.
Okay, so they talking about it quite a bit up there. I'm sure they have to, because it made national news now. So, you know, people are talking about it, and I'm sure they're gonna try to put a spin on it and make it seem like, well, you know, it's not as bad as it seems like, and things were taken out of context, and you know, so even those people. But you know, one thing about those rednecks don't care how it make them look. Like, they like, hey, they'll go and they're gonna try to change it up a little bit, because they don't want to look like just Klan members or whatever, but they're gonna like, hey, we don't like her and we ain't working for it, and that's what it is. So, but I said something to him. I'm trying to think.
It wasn't just the police department that left. It was other people that left as well, besides the police department.
Oh, it was other people. Yeah, because I did read that it was somebody else too. That I think a clerk or somebody else left as well too. I believe.
Yeah, that's on that video on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, can we play that inside the actual in the room?
Oh, what you trying to do, Tyler?
I wanted to see if we could actually play that actual clip. I know it's only like a minute 20. I was wondering if we could actually play it in the Twitter space.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Twitter doesn't have loop back option, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's something I'm actually looking into. That's why I was mentioning the StreamYard to you, or whatever the case be. But I can play it on my other machine if you want me to.
Yeah, play it on your other machine if you can, just so we can hear. I see Ray having some issues, or like Ray he was having some connection issues. So
okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me turn my machine off, because it was actually off. Give me like about a minute or two.
Okay, no problem, no sweat. Definitely appreciate that. And Goddess, how is things going up there with the because I know y'all were up there doing the pull up on the on the Cal and Bryan or whatever. Is any new updates on that whatsoever? Because I know Mississippi DA said he's not going to prosecute.
Yes. You know, we don't care about what they're talking about. That's some bullshit. We don't really give a damn. On Thursday, we are going to have, nice that you asked, we are going to be having a news conference on Thursday at 12 noon in Raleigh at the Legislative Building. And then on Saturday, we're going to have a town hall meeting in Raleigh as well. Now, on Thursday, it's going to be simultaneous in Mississippi as well as in Raleigh at the same time. So we're going to get it cracking in both places.
Okay. So y'all put in that work. I mean, I wonder where they hiding at, because they got to be hiding it somewhere. Like, I know she came out the other day and she was talking about that how much she had also suffered because of the whole incident, and that she tried to protect Emmett Till and whatnot. So yeah, I know they actually hiding this old lady somewhere, trying to keep her out of the public's eye.
Well, good thing about this is one day, I don't know if I told y'all this in space before, but I was riding down the road and came to ride up on the Wake County Sheriff, who was doing a fundraiser. So I pulled right on over and I went over and started talking to him. Well, me and him are friends now. He told me she's in Wake County. He can't tell me where she is, but he's going to come on to Twitter with me. We're going to set up a date for him to come on Twitter. But yes, he told me she's here, so I already know she's in Rome.
Okay, good. DJ, let me know you still looking for that.
Yeah, just let my machine warm up a little bit or whatever. I just recently turned it on. But check the jumbotron on the post God was talking about.
Yeah, I saw that.
Far left side.
Yeah, I saw that just a second ago. Because I was gonna say I do, because I want everybody also to hear this one article, like I say, about the black farmers and whatnot. And I think in one space we actually, maybe a month or two ago, we actually covered some of that. But man, your heart has to go out for the black farmers and whatnot. They getting stiffed by the U.S. government once again, and not only that, but what's supposed to be solely entitled for them, they have to split up with other people. And then you got the white farmers up here hollering about reverse racism and stuff like that. I mean, just complete nonsense that what these people come up with. No matter how much that these people have given to this country, it's never enough, and it's always somehow your fault. It's always, they have just stolen billions upon billions of dollars from black farmers and taken all kind of millions of acres of land from black farmers, then squeeze them out by subsidizing white farmers and whatnot. They pay white farmers not to even grow certain crops and whatnot in this country. And they sitting up here talking about reverse racism. And the U.S. has been backing them from day one, putting them in a power play. It's just really sad. And I definitely have to touch on that tonight. I definitely want everybody to hear that, just so you can hear the information or whatever. So, DJ, what I'm gonna do is, since you're looking for that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start on this other article here.
For sure.
Okay, this was published by Atlanta Black Star, black-owned newspaper, and of course Atlanta, curator of the Newstoter platform. The title is "This is Wrong: What the Government is Doing." National Black Farmers Association calls on Biden, black athletes, influencers for help after white farmers sue to block $4 billion debt relief. America's black farmers are at risk of losing their livelihoods, a key figure in the black agriculture told Atlanta Black Star. The American Rescue Plan Act earmarked $4 billion in debt relief payments for socially disadvantaged farmers last March, but a court battle has suspended the disbursement of money. White farmers sued the U.S. Department of Agriculture to stop the program, claiming it discriminates against them, which is reverse racism. National Black Farmers Association President John Boyd Jr. said farmers who were waiting on the funding for the debt relief are receiving delinquency letters for the USDA loans they use to finance their farms. It is hindering them from borrowing other money to cover their expenses amid inflation and shortages. Boyd is calling on President Joe Biden to intervene. He said the president promised black farmers a meeting last July, but Biden's office has yet to follow through. Does that sound familiar? I was hopeful that the president would keep his word and come to the table and see what we may be able to do together to get around some of this stuff, Boyd told Atlanta Black Star. Boyd pointed out that debt relief package only covers a tiny fraction of what black farmers should recover after decades of discriminatory practices that block black farmers from borrowing money and repossess their land. According to a May report by the New Republic, black farmers lost $326 billion worth of land between 1920 and 1997. And they talk about giving them $4 billion and they done lost $326 billion worth. This is what's wrong with the government is doing to us. I don't care if Republican or Democrat or independent. You know wrong is wrong. And I was one of the first people to support President Biden. Boy said, we're not getting what we need from the administration right now. And that's just not good from a group of people who overwhelmingly supported you and voted for you. Biden received 92% of the black vote in 2020 presidential election reports show. White farmers in their legal complaint contend that the program violated their constitutional right to equal protection. The relief package covers payments for Black American Indian, let me say that again, Black American Indian, Alaska Native, Hispanic, Asian American, or Pacific Island farmers. So you got all these other groups that black people got to split up. Let's count. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 groups. Now black people have lost almost $400 billion just in land, in acres and stuff. But they got to split up with all of these different groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got to split up with 5 groups. While the federal funding is tied up in court, Boyd said black farmers are trying to find alternate ways to pay their farms. The USDA told farmers to continue to submit their loan payment notification letters, and the agency will process them for quick payout once the funding is released. The USDA has also halted foreclosures of delinquent borrowers, but acknowledges missing payments could be a barrier to additional lending. It's almost like the 40 acres and a mule, Boyd said. So you promise these things to blacks, and then we essentially chase our tails to collect it. And it's not the way this is supposed to work, Boyd said. Eric Lowe, the White House director of African American media, told Atlanta Black Star that USDA officials, the White House, Domestic Council, and the White Office of Public Engagement have been in constant contact with the National Black Farmers Association. Still, the ongoing plight of black farmers has soured the taste for the Biden administration, among others in the black community. Oh, you think? Professional basketball player and reparationist Rashard Singleton said the lack of action by the Biden administration is so disrespectful to black voters, he created a petition that has amassed 79,000 signatures. He plans to take his fight to state houses in Capitol Hill when it reaches his goal of 150,000 signatures. However, Hilton Singleton, who has played basketball in other parts of the globe, said he's disappointed in the lack of support black farmers have received from professional athletes in the U.S. I find it very stressful that I seem to be the only athlete talking about this. That's what really bothers me. I'm just an overseas basketball player, he told Atlanta Black Star. We need our NFL players talking about this issue. We need our basketball players talking about this issue. We need our black baseball players talking about this issue. We need the black golfers that. Boyd also urged black Americans to unite and lobby for the debt relief of black farmers. All these guys have Twitter accounts and social medias. If you can't give them, then speak about it, Boyd said. I think it would help us, especially to let the administration know that black America is aware of this and it doesn't look good. So, yeah. Insane, I see you got your hand up. I'll go ahead and let you unmute your mic.
Hey, Tyler, which video was that real quick again?
You talking the one you was looking for?
No, the one you wanted me to play.
I don't know.
I had to do it on another machine. Look, yeah, Twitter doesn't have loopback option. It was about the sister that's going through with the law enforcement issues, right?
Yeah. Play that real quick. That was like a minute or something, right?
Yeah, but let Brother Insane go on. So I still have to load it up on a whole nother machine.
Go ahead, Brother Insane.
That piece about John Boyd is very discouraging. I saw those numbers. I guess it was about a week or so ago, and they broke down the monies, and the white farmers, get the bulk of the money. I think there's a category for Native Americans. Isn't there even a category for Chinese people in those numbers, or Asians? I seen
and that you had. Let me take a look at it because you had Indians, you had Pacific Islanders, it was like 5 different people that was listed in the actual thing itself. So
it's numerous oddball groups that are not really associated with farming in terms of magnanimous efforts.
Okay, let let me name them. You have the American Indian, then you have the Alaskan Native, you have Hispanic, you have Asian American or Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and we're talking about that they're talking about between 1920 and 1997 that 326 billion worth of land was lost. Okay, now how many let's be real, how many Hispanics back in the 1920s was farming like that? And the same for the Pacific Islanders, and the same for the Asians, and for that matter, the same for the Hispanics.
And then when they showed the graph, they did something real visually that was slick and stunning. They listed whites at the top, I think Native Americans, then maybe Hispanics, and then they listed us above a group as if we were somehow above them. But when you look at the numbers that match the groups, our numbers are lower in terms of funds that we get, and there's a group beneath us that gets a larger settlement. Yeah, they did that with visually. It was a visual ploy. Is what it made us look like we were higher in ranking above one group. I don't know which group it was, but when you look at the numbers that group gets, their numbers, monetary rewards, are higher than ours. So in truth and reality, we should have been listed at the bottom.
Here's a problem I have with the whole thing, Insane, is that this is about black farmers. And the fact that see, this is the thing that we talk about when we talk about policy and we talk about things written in the law. See, until you start having things that specifically say black farmers, this was a U.S. debt relief. You know, this was not about black farmers. This was about a debt. They used black farmers like they always do. They use them as a mascot so they can go ahead and split everything up. Now you have to split money up with all these groups, and the paper just telling that almost you had $327 billion. You had close to $400 billion that was lost from black people. Yet you have to split this up with Hispanics, Asians, Pacific Islanders, Native Americans. You know, how fair is that? When they write something, when something is for these groups here get it themselves. They don't split it up with 4 or 5 other groups, including black people. But now you want to go ahead and you want to split all of this stuff up with black people. And then, you know what I'm saying, $4 billion. What the hell is $4 billion for real, anyways, of these farmers? They got ongoing debt going because of inflation and the loans and everything else, the interest rates and all this stuff that is constantly adding up. They're going to end up putting a lot of these black people out of business, sitting around, playing around. And people talk about what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that. Joe Biden is showing you his true colors right here. You about to put these black farmers out of debt. You've already screwed black people to the point where you pushed them right out of the agriculture field already. And you're going the remaining ones left, you're going to go ahead and push them right out too. And you sitting up here talking about splitting what's theirs. This should be a reparation in terms of farm money going strictly to black people in this country and nobody else. Nobody else has a claim to this. They wasn't taking all of this stuff from all these other groups the way they took it from black people. And now you're gonna sit up here, and when it's time to pay up, then you got like the story we mentioned earlier with the white people sitting up here pouting about the black woman coming in. Once again, you got white people sitting up here pouting again and crying and complaining about not being treated right. So the government's got to sit up there and kiss their behind. They sitting up there pouting the same way they did with that black woman up there in Kinley. They're sitting up there pouting, and now they're gonna undermine the whole thing. Like I said, this is where you do need your own politicians and you need your own reparationists, because first off, when they said that you're black farmers, this is like, no, this is strictly for us and nobody else. We're tired of having to always share everything that we earn and everything that was taken from us. We have to share it amongst the whole minority coalition.
Yes. Newstoter, I think what's important from a media perspective, from a media entity such as yourselves, is to really appreciate the lay of the land between what FBA God is talking about jumping off in Raleigh and what's jumping off in South Hill, Virginia, where John Boyd is located. That's just across the North Carolina border. So John Boyd can be in Raleigh quicker than he can Richmond. I know because I grew up in that area. I can be in his part of Virginia, maybe 6-7 minutes. cruising at 65, 70 miles an hour. I can be in Virginia in 6 minutes and well on the way to South Hill. Now, where he's positioned at in the South Hill area, I don't have any real idea, but I know I can be there, cruising speed 10, 15 minutes or less. That is also the area where Dr. Umar Johnson looked at a school, the former St. Paul's College, all black school. That's adjacent to South Hill. So what should probably be appreciated about that area is that they're all very close. Tremendous amount of black people in that area, and the exchange in terms of social relationships, especially around that North Carolina, Virginia border area, in terms of relationships and family relationships, it goes back and forth. There's some people I went to school with who had family members who grew up in the area where John Boyd is in Virginia. So it's not an entity where it should be looked at as him being in a different state, so to speak. He is regionally, to a certain degree, tied into these issues that are dealing with injustices in Elizabeth City, where the young man was shot down. He can be in Elizabeth City in no time. He can be in Greenville. She's talking about Benson. That would be a stretch for him. But certainly Elizabeth City, where that young man was gunned down recently, about a year ago, he can be there quicker than Richmond. So these are things that the media outlets, online media outlets, should possibly entertain when they start to focus on what's going on in that region. It's more so a regional. These are regional wrongs that are happening simultaneously within an area that all people can be at in less than an hour. Really. Yeah. So I hope that somehow you can really appreciate that as regional issues that are happening. Tremendous amount of black people in this area: Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Greenville, all those areas, large black populations. I know that many of those municipalities, one thing that has occurred is you have a cluster of whites who establish themselves and they never extend the city limits. For instance, in the little town that was the county seat that I grew up in the county, where the courthouses and all that stuff is, they've never extended the city limits because if they do, then they include a huge amount of black people that would yield significant power. In contrast, there's a lot of that goes on in that part of North Carolina, that being east, everything east of Raleigh, headed toward the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, there's a lot of that happens, and that may be what is going on in Kinley. Who knows? I don't know. I saw one man speak, seemed very intelligent, understood the need for some sort of police force in the town. I have no idea who this man was, but it wouldn't surprise me if there are similar circumstances going on in that area. Tremendous amount of black people, but a small group of white people are clustered up with the power. Yeah, that's very common, and you can see that here in North Carolina in many of these little small towns of 10,000 or less. You can clearly see it, and I'll land my plane with that.
No doubt. And like I say, what we try to put it out there and give Atlanta Black Star their props. They went ahead and they putting it out there too. So I mean, Atlanta Black Star is a great website, a great black owned news source. So for those that haven't been to Atlanta Black Star, you go ahead and check it out. I mean, it's one of the top black media websites there is. So yeah, we're putting it out there. And the article made an interesting point about black entertainers, basically black athletes, because you have a former black basketball player trying to get attention for this. He's like, where's all my other NBA stars and NFL stars and baseball stars and golf stars? Like, where are all these people on Twitter and stuff, like the influencers and whatnot, to speak about this? So, we're still, for the relatively speaking, we're a smaller, in terms of the influence status, we're a smaller site. So, we're not going to be able to garner the kind of information, the kind of attention that this situation really needs. But You have people that's in the black media and stuff, and you have entertainers and athletes and politicians and lawmakers and stuff like that, that you really need their support. You really need them to go ahead and push this agenda and try to get this out here as much as possible, because this is something that's very important. We talk about our ancestors and what they did and what they contributed to this country. One thing our ancestors did was make sure we had food in our belly. But now the last hold of the black farmers have really been threatened by mainstream America, by the government, by white farmers, and they have to split up the crumbs that they get in the crumbs. Because let's be for real, $4 billion in terms of all of the machinery and the seeds and the acres and the fertilizer and everything that they need, that they got to split up amongst each other. They got to share with other groups. So how fair is that? That's not fair at all. That's once again cutting their throat. That's not allowing them to be prosperous. It's like they want to see them fail so they can go ahead and steal the rest of their land and go ahead and split it up amongst their people. They actually want to see these people fail. They don't want to see the black farmers be successful. They're hoping that they go into foreclosure. They're hoping that they go into debt. They're hoping that they got to file bankruptcy so they can go ahead and get the rest of their acres for pennies on a dollar. And this is what we talk about, white supremacy and this and that. This is why I wanted to create this space tonight, because I felt like we had important issues, you know what I'm saying, that needed to be addressed. Important issues, when we hold space, we want to try to hold a space there's something that really matters to the people or whatever. Something that people say, well, damn, I heard a little bit about that, but they did give us a little bit of detailed analysis of exactly what's going on and whatnot. Like, this is important to me, like, and I would hope that it'd be important to most of our people and whatnot. But all we can do is participate and do what we can to dispense the knowledge and the information, and hope that other black people will see it, they'll share it, they'll talk about it, they'll get involved, they'll try to do something. So that's the only thing that we can hope. Hopefully that you guys, you see the articles up there, you can go ahead and you can tweet some out or whatever. You never know when something may go viral and catch the attention of some bigwig, some major star, some major influencer, some major politician or whatever. So like I say, I wanted to definitely talk about this because, like I say, I felt this was something that was definitely needed tonight. That we definitely need to speak about this, because we got a group of people that are just struggling right now, man. And like I said, they put all their trust in Joe Biden, and we see how that worked out. And then the same black people in our community will get pissed if you say something about Joe Biden. The first thing, well, it ain't his fault. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't stop it. These people telling you that we're trying to contact Joe. We're trying to get in touch with him. We're trying to do all, and he's ignoring us. The same way he's been ignoring all of the issues that black people have been talking about. Yet you're gonna get pissed at black people if they don't come out in 2024 in November and vote for this man. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Ray, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, but in that same breath, those same black people, when it was time to vote, were the ones that were telling us that we need to put Biden in office because he's the only one that could unite us and get this stuff done. But now they're switching their tone just as quick.
I want to offer this also, if you don't mind, Ray. When people start talking about this stuff about, well, it ain't his fault and da 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 this and da 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 that, and he couldn't help it. Just hit them with the words of a famous president who came about years ago. The buck stops here. That's Harry S. Truman. He coined that phrase. You own it, man. You own it. It's your problem. You can't get away from under it. Then the same president, strangely enough, said, show me a man who becomes a millionaire as a politician, and I'll show you a crook. Biden has become a millionaire as a politician. That's a new wave that's happening in this country. So, this unwillingness to hold Biden accountable, no. Just, offer that up to them. And everyone knows that phrase. Many of us don't know where it originated, but that's called ownership. Truman was saying, I own it. So, I want to hear that about he can't help it. He owns it. It's his problem. Again, another thing I wanted to make about this point about these farmers and stuff, there's a well-known ex-football player, again, another person here in the state, in that part of the state, everything east of Raleigh, headed toward the Atlantic Ocean. This man has a tremendous farm on the outskirts of a little town called Lewisburg. Those of you who are baseball fans, you probably know that Lewisburg Junior College has a tremendous baseball program, and a lot of professional athletes have been through that program. But at any rate, an ex-football player, I think he was a defensive player, but he's well respected. He's had a tremendous farming effort going on in North Carolina for a number of years now, somewhere definitely between 5 and 10 years, if not more, but certainly somewhere between 5 and 10 years. This ex-football player has had a tremendous farming operation in what would be Granville County, which is adjacent to Raleigh, roughly in about 20 minutes. So again, you got all this regional stuff happening in certain people and places, and I don't know if they're all tied together, but certainly I will share that piece about this football player and what he's done, and I'll let Atlanta Black Star know. But you do an awesome job too, Newstoter, and you're growing. I mean, that's the important thing about it. You're growing, and holding these spaces is very important, very, very important. And I'll land my plane with that.
Well, we try, brother, and we're going to keep putting the content out there. Sometimes, like, when you put the content out there, it's not going to be the most popular thing that people want to hear, but we feel like the community needs to hear it. So there are issues and there are topics that we can go ahead and we can keep talking about or whatever. But there's so many different topics that lift face and so many different topics that need to be addressed that we just feel like we have to go ahead and try to cover it as best we can. So definitely appreciate your support. Definitely appreciate all the support, everybody that comes to the spaces. So we're gonna keep holding the spaces, and we're gonna keep taking these topics, these current events that's happening in Black America, and we're gonna keep talking about them and discussing them. We want to have an intelligent space as much as possible. So, Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just definitely want to add something on to what Brother Insane Optimist said. There's another very famous quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt. You guys can look it up. It says, "In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way." So these folks has actively been working against us for years, family. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that and make sure we're keeping our eyes on a lot of stuff that's going on to protect ourselves and our families.
And that's why we say the group economics thing is so serious. Like, if we was on code, like we supposed to be on code, if we were investing in our own people, if we had that same one-track mind that we need to go ahead and push our agenda together, we could be there to actually support these people, to support our own people. We could be the ones that's lending them the money out and whatnot and helping them and pushing that. But we're not. We don't believe in each other to that point. We won't support Black-owned business. We won't support it. DJ, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready to play the video. Go ahead.
Go ahead and play the video.
Intro, there was a pretty large outcome. We're talking more than 50 people who anxiously awaited any possible outcome. And there was a pretty large outcome. We're talking more than 50 people who anxiously awaited any possible outcome. And we had several council members who met for more than an hour only to end up back at square one. They waited in droves outside as council members met inside.
Angry, upset, sort of dismayed, because this is a shock.
Sudden resignations by 7 employees, including the police chief, 4 full-time officers, a town clerk, and assistant manager, sent shockwaves through Kinley. Mayor Tui Hill setting the record straight on current public safety efforts.
The town still has a patrol, we still have police coverage, and we will continue to do so.
Employees who resigned cited a hostile work environment under town manager Justine Jones. She attended tonight's meeting with supporters behind her.
We support our town manager because we need a change.
And others who questioned her ability to lead.
Sounds to me like she's troubled. She needs to go.
At the end of tonight's emergency meeting, I asked Mayor Hales about the concerns he's heard from town employees. Have you heard of any of the type of stresses that might have been brought on, if they have been brought on, by the town manager?
That's a good question, and that's a question that the council wants answered.
and tonight's meeting was a closed session. The mayor did indicate that he hopes to have a public meeting sometime next week.
Okay, just for the record, all those folks that they were talking about that quit, they were white. Go ahead.
Yeah, we figured that much. We definitely figured that much. Ray, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Yeah, and just for the record too, pretty much the main ones that are complaining about it, they're white, and the ones that are for the new black, police chief or whatever, sheriff or whatever she may be, that they are black people. So that it seems like that's this time is segregated, obviously.
Ray, go ahead. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to give you a little bit of pushback on what you said earlier. I don't think it's because, we don't really, in the black community, there's a real lack of trust because let's just be honest. We've had so many people that act like, they're so for us. And in the end, we just end up getting burned. There's so many people out here that's trying to hustle, just to really make a dollar, but they ain't really worried about what's really going on in the community.
And I don't disagree with what you're saying, Ray. What I'm saying is that we could do more. Like, we do look for excuses not to support black businesses as well, too. They too expensive. They too this. They too that. They too this. They too that. What I'm saying is now that we're at an age now that there's black economists right out here in this country. We can get some of the top black economists, sit down, talk to them, and ask them about how can we go ahead and start using group economics as a way to grow our community and our economy. We can get people that's trusted, people that went to school, that's PhDs and stuff like that, top of the line people like that. How can we go about forming a multinational corporation just for those who are descendants of slaves in this country? How can we can have different tiers. We can have people that invest $25 a month. We can have it from $25 a month all the way up to $100 a month. You know what I'm saying? We can do stuff like that. And that's the only way. And I'm not saying, and I understand with the farmers and stuff, I know that we're talking about billions of dollars, so I know you have to have federal funding and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that we should not have that for them. But I'm saying we too as a community, I mean, we look at our income, we look at what we're at in terms of the world or whatever. First off, we're the richest black people in the world. We're the wealthiest and the richest and the most successful black people on the face of this planet. Okay, there are black people, whether we believe that or not, there are black people in this country that make more money than some white people in other countries, more than some Asians in some other countries. I know that we may be on the bottom of the pole here in this country right here, but when you look at our salaries, if you was to compare it worldwide to other people's salaries and stuff like that, you'd be amazed. If we were a country ourselves, we'd be a top 15 type country in terms of our economy that we could have. So why not take that and try to benefit ourselves and whatnot? We should be buying up farmland, man. Everything that we buy in the store should come from a black person. We should have our own farmers. These people out here farming right now, they should be working with us. You know what I'm saying? We should have a partnership with them. Everything they grow, we buy. Whether it's apples, whether it's grapes, whether it's onions, whether it's tomatoes, whether we're talking about livestock, we're talking about chicken and cows and pigs and beef and everything, goats, whatever you talk about, turkey, we should be buying from them. You know what I'm saying? We should be, the 40 some odd million of us, and I know you can't get everybody on code, but if it's 20 million of us, we should be supplying, these people we should be able to get great deals because they're going to have somebody that they can always depend on. And that's what I'm saying. Until we start feeding ourselves, till we start clothing ourselves, till we start housing ourselves, till we start educating ourselves, we are going to continue to lag behind. We've seen one thing in this country. We got people that despise us that are our doctors. We got people that despise us that teaches us. I mean, we got people that's feeding us and everything else. They're responsible for the drinking water. How's that going for us? How's that going in Flint and down there in Jackson when these people are responsible for the damn drinking water that we got?
Newark, New Jersey too as well, brother. Newark, New Jersey.
So I get what you're saying that, yeah, we done had all kind of scammers and this and that, but guess what? White people done had all kind of scammers, and Hispanics done had all kind of scammers. Everybody got scammers amongst them. But I'm saying, but we could get some of the top economists in this country, get together, set up a damn think tank, and start putting down steps on how we form a corporation. Not only that, I'm gonna tell you what. Not only do we need to own land here in America, we need to own land globally. We need to be a global force. See, black culture is an export that goes all around the world, and the U.S. uses it, and every other country uses it, and they make billions of dollars off of our culture and our entertainment and our style and our fashion. We need to start making money. We need to start having that capitalistic mindset that they got. We need to start having it for ourselves. We need to start building our own homes, our own apartments, everything like that. Group economics. That way we can go ahead and instead of paying these outrageous $1,500 for rent, we can have it where our people paying $400-$500. And people say, well, you're not making a ton of money. Well, we don't need to make a ton of money because guess what? We own the land. We own the building. All we got to do is worry about upkeep. We already pay for everything. So everything that we get is going to be a profit. Everything we get is going to get passed down to our kids, our grandkids. We're going to keep it up. We're going to have our own landscapers, our own construction, plumbers, carpenters, everything you can think about. We are going to make this money. We're going to have our own banks to finance it, everything. We're going to have our own car dealerships. Get to the point where we start manufacturing our own cars. Damn the dealerships. Get to the point where we have our own Fords and GMs and stuff like that. But we go to other places like Africa, we get their raw materials and we start processing it. Matrix, I see you got your hand up, sister. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Everything you're talking about is everything I wanted to say. Because it's like ever since Reconstruction, they done kicked us out of all the industries after we taught them everything. And now we stuck with nothing. We're stuck with no industries. Right now, we should be helping these black farmers. I mean, I think about it every day. I'm like, what can we do as a collective in our community for these farmers? Each state have farmers. Go to your black farmer. And I don't understand. I don't know how. I mean, I understand, but I don't know how we can help them. Like, because I don't mind somebody helping a farmer. I just don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it's beautiful that we're trying to get our own everything. I want our own everything. Segregation was the worst thing that happened to us. So, like, it was one of the worst things. But yeah, I'm glad my friend.
No doubt. Like I say, we definitely need to go ahead and support our own because if we don't, who will? Like I say, now is the time, man. Especially we're in a digital age. We can do business all across the country and everything else all across the world. We have the minds, we have the intellect, we have the know-how. We can even talk to some of the people like you always say, Ray, in the Nation of Islam. People who done laid a blueprint down. We need to start setting up ways that we can start forming trade coalitions and stuff like that. And not only that, all the excess produce that we grow in this country, we sell it to the other countries. Whatever we have left over from the excess here, we sell it to other countries. We trade with other countries. Hey, you grow mangoes? Well, we got apples over here. We'll trade you. That way, no cash got to be exchanged. Whatever that comes just from the extra we have or whatever. We can go ahead and trade like that. We can go old school and whatnot, man. So there's so many different ways that we can come up that we're just not doing. We're not thinking, man. And until we do that, like I say, these farmers, they should have the clientele, and we should be the clientele. And when they're hitting a rough patch like that. That $4 billion to a group of black people in this country. If you had 10 million of us, forget the 40 million. If you had 5 million of us on code right there, man, we can come up with $4 billion overnight. I mean, just like that. So if we ever get on code, man, the only thing stopping us really, besides white supremacy, is ourselves as well. We know white supremacy is the elephant in the room. We know that for a fact. But even with white supremacy, we still can go ahead and we still can move the needle if we get on code, if we start looking out for each other, man. And that's the only way we're going to get up out this predicament is that we're going to have to be our brother's keeper, be our sister's keeper. And we're not doing that to the point, man, I think that we can really be highly successful. Go ahead, Ray. I know you had your hand up for a minute.
No, go ahead, brother. A lot of stuff that you said, honestly, was covered, so that's why I went ahead and just put it back down.
Okay, no doubt. Insane. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Enough can't be said about farmers. And this ex-player that I was speaking about in Lewisburg, North Carolina, which is regionally in the area where all this stuff is going on between the farmer and South Hill and this thing in Raleigh that FBA is talking about. He's got 1,000-acre farm down there. He quit at 29 after making $25 million in the game to pursue this farming effort. So these are things that we can do, but what I always like to remind people of is that, you know, when you're practicing this type of black excellence, we are attempting to engage in a style of capitalism that falls under the auspices of a philosophy called rugged individualism, which, you know, is set up not so much for us. We can excel there, but there are always tremendous obstacles placed before us that aren't placed before these other people in this country. You know, there are a tremendous amount of obstacles placed in front of us. And one business model that I think we forget about a lot of times is the cooperative economics model. People coming together, like-minded people coming together saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to show up. This is ours. We're going to be here. We're going to sweep the floors. And we're going to own this together. As opposed to going out separately, wanting to explore these ideas, but yet still we find ourselves punching a time clock from here until eternity. Some of us, if we could really come together, like-minded people who are frustrated at the local level with these jobs, if we could organize ourselves and are willing to submit ourselves to the right type of training, the co-op model is a viable business model. We're talking about farmers here. One of the providers throughout the South in terms of feed, seed, and other farming implements, wheelbarrows, is Southern States. Southern States, some of you've heard of it. Southern States started as a co-op in Virginia. A group of farmers were having trouble, I think, with seeds, and it was something else. It was called something seed or another, and then it transitioned into Southern States. That's a very big company now, and it's moved away from its original business model. But it was a group of farmers who came together who were willing to man the store when other people had stuff to do. That is a viable option. I've seen in this area, this is quote unquote somewhat of a progressive area. There's a True Value hardware store here. If any of you are familiar with it, this store always was astonishing to me because it has a pharmacy in it and it has a tool rental section, which you generally don't see in True Value. Well, when I was exploring the co-op model, it was revealed to me that that particular co-op was a co-op, meaning that a group of people came together and said, hey, we want to co-op this. We want True Value as a name, but we want a pharmacy in here and we want to rent tools. So they get a lot of local business as a result of that. If you look at IGA, International Grocers Association, those are generally, that's not necessarily a chain so much as it is people who have expertise in a certain field of grocery, be it a butcher or a say for instance store manager and somebody that has got a good understanding of stocking and grocery. They come together under the IGA banner. All of those stores are independent. So I think this model is something that we really need to sometimes educate people about the cooperative model and just reveal the amount of co-ops that are we are surrounded by, even though we may not know about them. So I'll land my plane with that. But I posted in the Jumbotron something about this player and what goes on at his farm. His name is Jason Brown. Football fans, you know him. It's been a long time since I've been a huge football fan, but he was a fairly decent player, and he started a farm here in North Carolina. And I don't think he really necessarily had ties to the area. I'm not very sure, but he's fairly well known. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. DJ, I see you got your hand up. DJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Yeah, you got your hand up.
Oh, no, I apologize.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to close the space out, everybody. I want to appreciate everybody who came through. DJ, you got any words you'd like to share with everybody before we get ready to close it out?
Yeah, you can learn to grow your own food. It's real simple. I know I'm not one to talk. I ain't growing my own food because I live here in the city area, but that shouldn't stop me because I'm really a landscape agriculture horticulturalist by trade. I got a degree in learning how to grow food, but it's hard to maneuver and do things when your space is not really right. But that shouldn't stop me as well because I know the rules. You could go get a bucket or some type of container and grow potatoes in that. See that? You can start off by going up to your local farmer's market or local nursery and get already pre-seeded strawberries, blueberry plants, and just sit it outside in your front yard. It'll do its own thing on its own. So just something to think about, y'all. Start trying to grow your own food and stack your water up. Practice doomsday prepping for sure. And if anybody got anything to say as far as got any other issues as far as work employment, make sure y'all go check the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, on race-based discrimination cases. And shout out to my sister on live right there in the bottom. Make sure y'all go support her. Get up in the Jumbotron. Shout out to Brother McCool. You always look out for the Newstoter. Always look out for the Kite Productions. Make sure y'all follow Brother McCool and go show his beat and go support his Be More Codified shirt brand. You know what I mean? Got the fire over there for the FBA family. You know what I mean? And reparations up when we'll be there. Bye, y'all.
God, I want to appreciate everybody that came out to the space tonight. We had a good conversation. We will definitely be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock sharp. So you guys look out for those reminders we're going to send out and make sure that you set it. Appreciate everybody who came to the space tonight, everybody who supported, everybody who spoke, or those who just came out and listened, those who tweeted out the space. We will see you again tomorrow around 8 o'clock. I don't know what the topic is. We'll see what's trending on Newstoter, and we'll go ahead and we'll try to set up a nice conversation around it. So I appreciate everybody's support. If you're not, make sure you follow Newstoter. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and just stay up to date with Black content by making sure you're following us on Twitter. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and see you then.
Peace and love. Reparations, y'all.